So now I'm retired on the Scheck decision, the 6-6 vote. My union votes for me. In 1992, my case goes before New York State Supreme Court. Before I talk about my case, I would just want to refer to this last 1:30 Board of Trustees meeting again. I'd like to read the administrative laws that the Corporation Counsel stated applied in my case on record, which I read before, along with Marlene Gold present, that they say were applied in the 1:30-92 union transcripts, Board of Trustees transcripts. Union member Mr. Moore was referring, the union member Mr. Moore was referring to, and Mr. Fink said yes, all the administrative laws applied in my case. Rosemary Carroll addresses the Fire Department pension laws 13.323, 13.353, 13.352. I'd like to talk about the Administrative Law 13.323. Part A. There shall be a medical board of 3 physicians. Signed, any report, it says. There shall be a medical board of 3 physicians. Remember, my first 1B board of 52390, there was only 2 physicians that signed their names. The orthopedic, Dr. Flum, did not sign his name. Part B, the medical board shall arrange for and shall pass upon all medical examinations required under the provisions of this subchapter, shall investigate all essential statements and certifications by or on behalf of a member in connection with his application for disability retirement, and shall report to the board its conclusions and recommendations. This law never applied in my case. This is the Fire Department administrative laws. These are the court laws, New York State court laws. They're the laws in the New York City Charter. Now on May 29th, 1991, this is almost a year before I retired, there's a letter written by Madga Deconinck addressed to Rosemary Carroll. As you know, the 1B Board is an independent body, Section 13.323 of the Administrative Code, charged with determining disability pursuant to Sections 13.353, 13.352 of the Administrative Code. When the Board of Trustees remands a matter to the 1B Medical Board, requesting answers to questions which will assist it in determining causality. Here they are speaking about causation. On May 29, 1991, Madga Deconinck wrote a letter to Rosemary Carroll, my attorney, where she stated, as you know, the 1B Board is an independent body, Section 13.323 of the Administrative Code, charged with determining disability pursuant to Sections 13.353 and 13.352 of the Administrative Code. When the Board of Trustees remands a matter to the 1B Medical Board requesting answers to causations which will assist it in determining causality, it remains within the discretion of the 1B Medical Board to order update tests in order to answer to those questions. How come my questions were never answered by the 1B Board or by Madga Deconinck or by the Board of Trustees? Now my case goes to court in 1992. Rosemary Carroll submits a document to the City Corporation Counsel, Madga Deconinck, to have my records contained, all contained at the 1B Board and the Board of Trustees. But again, guess who's handling the Supreme Court case? Madga Deconinck. Madga Deconinck, the Fire Department Board of Trustee member for the New York City Corporation Counsel, who stated at the very beginning of my case that I never had a previous injury, and that my injury was from my cervical injury was from a line of duty injury, and that someone had altered my medical examination report and wrote the word disc on it. Even at this point, she's still fighting my case. Rosemary Carroll cites a CPLR law, section 2307, which is cited in all disability cases. For an order pursuant to section 2307 CPLR, directing the respondents herein to serve and file upon and return date hereof. A. All reports to the recommendations, certifications, and all other documents submitted by the Article 1B Pension Board of Trustees of the New York City Fire Department in connection with the retirement of petitioner herein. Part B. All copies of the minutes of each meeting of said Board of Trustees where the Board of Trustees considered, discussed, or acted upon the retirement application of the petitioner. And C. Copies of all and any and all, medical records, reports, or notes relating to petitioner which are on file with the Article 1B Pension Fund and or Fire Department. Remember, Marlene Gold stated all my records were read by the 1B Medical Board, and nobody should believe that only selective documents were given. Another quote. Of course, it is appropriate to submit new information to the board, and we did that on every occasion that Ms. Carroll and Mr. Romanelli wished to submit new information to be reviewed by the board. We took that information and conveyed it to the board. Marlene Gold and Mariel Sullivan were also responsible for all my documents to be provided by the courts, to the courts, under this section 2307. And I just read previously, remember Marlene Gold stated that Romanelli's entire record is contained in the books? On 9/22/1993, September 22nd, 1993, the New York Supreme Court issued a one-of-a-kind, very rare win. The 1B board now does not even state where this pain syndrome came from. Again, no doctor diagnosed me with it. Again, this is outright fraud. Over a year and a half, Rosemary Carroll and I were pleading with the board to have my records read. I was also being treated by a psychologist, like I said before, for a post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of a fire. Also, I went to the on-site academy in Massachusetts for help with my stress condition. I spent 6 nights there with police officers who also suffered from post-traumatic stress disorders. These police officers were from the Oklahoma bombing. About 7 of us were seeking help. Well, we all stayed there for 6 nights. We all made friends right away. There was also this one fireman that happened to walk in that I felt really bad for, that had shot himself, but thank God he managed to live. Shot himself in the head. So now I'm retired on the pain syndrome, unattributed to any physical symptoms, and the only person probably in New York City to be retired on this made-up condition. And still Marlene Gold, Madga Deconinck still refuse to answer to my causation as required by law. Now again, the Fire Department Board of Trustees holds another meeting where Rosemary Carroll, by memo, directs the board to answer to my causation.